Hello my friends, this is a video response to a video response. Julie from Raw Healing Patch, or Authentic Woman Coach, did a video response to Nate, who did a video on embracing the shadow. Basically what he did was he confessed some of his bad points. And it was pretty significant for him. He basically bore his soul out and really showed some of his bad points. And Julie did a response that, from my eyes, was kind of a different take. She took it from the perspective of how people might put her on a pedestal and don't see what goes on when she's not on the video. Which is easy to do because, we only see so much. So our world, from what we see into their lives, are very limited for the most part, especially if it's more of a focused kind of channel. And Julie's kind of is. She focuses on, uplifting things and her coaching and raw foods and, all kinds of stuff. It's not like she goes around her life vlogging everything, so you're not going to see her whole life, so it's all different for everybody. But I will have to say, when she talked about in the beginning about being put on a pedestal, that threw a flag up for me, and not as in a freak out flag or anything like that. It's because I could relate to being on that pedestal, so much so in two different ways. Being on the pedestal and putting someone on the pedestal and watching them fall. And so I thought I would do a video on that. As far as my shadows, truthfully, after 45 minutes of deliberating and even getting the man upstairs' feedback, the literal man upstairs in the house, I don't have any shadows. You can't have any shadows if you don't hide anything. I just don't feel like I have any shadows. I've never hidden anything from you guys. I've told you the good, the bad, the ugly. My biggest shadow is probably me, but that's a whole nother story, and it's not going to be what it sounds like. But anyway, I had such a rough time growing up, for many different reasons, that when I finally met someone that I respected hugely, other than maybe my mom or something, it was like starstruck. And holy cow, I would put them up on that pedestal. Starstruck. And one of the biggest lessons I've ever had in my life was when I started training in martial arts, and I started training with all these different grandmasters and traveling all over the world. What I really wanted in my vision was one of those masters that I would have to go to that you would never find out in public. And even they are human, but I think because I wanted that more of a spiritual connection, that I put that on them. And these guys weren't that kind of master, They weren't that kind of grandmaster. And I put all of that faith in them, and I put them on these pedestals. And though one of them I didn't, because I had learned by that point in time, actually my most favorite one, thankfully I didn't do that with him. But the first one that I ever had, I sure did. And boy, was my world shattered when I found out that all he really wanted was to get into my pants. Yeah. So I did all this training with this first Grandmaster that was totally westernized, and all he wanted to do was get in my pants. Of course he didn't, but I'm just saying that when I found that out, I just quit training with him. To me, it just lost all the... It just lost a lot. It just didn't mean anything to me anymore. But how that shattered, you know, it wasn't even the fact that he wanted to get into my pants. I didn't care less about that part. But I put him on a pedestal he shouldn't have been on. And there was a few other things like that. It was like, he was just in it for the business. He wasn't in it for the whole spiritual thing. And he portrayed that at first, you know, and you know, he was a good scam artist is what he was. That was my first Grandmaster. Talk about losing faith in the whole thing, you know, it's like, it hurt me a lot more than it hurt him, because he didn't care. Now, on the other hand, if you do care, and you're the one on the pedestal, it really hurts too, because I've been there, and am there. Inevitably, what happens is you know that you're gonna be human, and they're not gonna like it because of their filters or whatever, and you're gonna end up, getting thrown in the lake with cement on your feet, and then you have another loss. You know, the worst thing we can do is be on a, put ourselves on a pedestal, put somebody else on a pedestal, or encourage somebody else to put us up on a pedestal. I hate being on that pedestal. It's a lot more comfortable being in the dirt than being on a pedestal. Personally, I would really like to be face to face, but I really just don't have any control over other people. So, every time I make a comment on YouTube, when people ask my opinion, or if my opinion is always expected on a video, and I always do want to support everybody, but I wince every time I actually make a comment, because I'm so concerned about wording it in a way that there can't be any misconception or misread, or that I might meditate on it before I hit that enter button to make sure that maybe they'll take it in the light that it was given, because so many times people forget who's talking to them, and they forget the fact that they actually have love for them, and they forget the fact that that they would never come from that kind of space because of their own space that they're in at the time. It really sucks falling off that pedestal. And sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you can't help but be shoved up like a prisoner on that pedestal. And nobody deserves to be on a pedestal. Nobody. I don't believe in enlightened people. Not anymore. But I do believe in people that have grown so much, or have come here that's already grown so much, that they have more enlightened moments. And I just hope that my path and my growth gives me more and more enlightened moments. I don't want to put myself on a pedestal. I don't want anybody putting me on a pedestal. And I'm certainly not going to put anybody else on a pedestal anymore. And people take offense to it when I say that. I'm sorry, I don't put you on a pedestal. What do you mean you don't put me on a pedestal? eyes. That hurt my feelings. Actually, that's a compliment. Because that means you're held in a very genuine manner and not in some Hollywood mode. That's not real. And also that can be said for the opposite. You know, everything in life has different perspectives, and everybody has different filters. They see things differently. They don't know all the facts. They might make judgments. Making judgments and putting somebody up on a pedestal is just not healthy for the person up there, and it's not healthy for you. And in the same light, doing the opposite and putting them down in the ground and stepping on them because you only know so much about them or so much about a situation. It's not healthy for them to go to, be shoved down there, and it's not healthy for yourself. You know what? Even if they don't deserve either one, it's not healthy to put them there, because that's not where we were meant to be, in my eyes. We were meant to honor and respect each other as they are unconditionally, help each other along the way, and for those that aren't good for us to be around, sometimes we have to back up and put some healthy space between us and say goodbye and love them from a distance. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people or it was a bad relationship. It just means that that's not what you want to surround your life with. Surround yourself in your life with. Either way, they're where they don't belong. And because you don't see something in a video or whatever, or because you do, I challenge you kind of to not judge it, or assume they don't do something, or assume that they don't fall or struggle, because they do, because they're human. If you're here on this planet, it's because you need to be, even if you're here to help. There's still something for everybody to learn. That's just my opinion. But anyway, create a great day.